welcome back to the third quarter of the Bobby Dupree Show, along with my sidekick, Andrew.
Good morning.
We're going to start off by showing a couple of young men that I grew up with, about my age, and we were over at one of our sponsors, but we'll talk about the men, and then we'll talk a little bit about the sponsor, because we were at the Steamboat Warehouse. Megan and I had dinner, and sitting at a table near us was these four people. And on the right is Mr. Chester Sylvester, a large landowner, and also has a crawfish processing plant, very well known in that area.
Whiteville
area. And also used to, and I'm sure still has, some real duck hunting leases that he leases duck blinds. I'm going to get it out. And he had lost his wife, and he met a young lady that went to school. They went to school together. And I'm speaking of Miss Arlene, and she is standing right next to him. And all the way on the left is another Chester, two Chesters, and this is Chester Wembley. And he hails from the Church Point area. He lives near, I guess, between Lawtell and Eunice. And in that community there, served on the school board and everything. Both of those men were very successful farmers and businessmen. And of course, Chester, so Wembley's wife is Doreen. He also lost his wife a few years ago. So they
two newlyweds.
Two newlyweds, two longtime friends, and I couldn't leave without going over and having a visit.
And getting a picture with the guys.
And took a picture too. So I'm going to have those pictures in my outdoor kitchen.
Well, don't forget about Steamboat Warehouse. Get mama away from the smell of her own cooking. Go by and try the great crawfish etouffee, where you can add a side dish of it to any meal that you order. They've got the shrimp Betsy with the large Gulf shrimp sauteed in a broth with olive oil and herbs and spices with French bread for you to dip in that good sauce. They've got stuffed filet of catfish with crab meat, shrimp, and crawfish, and the crawfish palmetto pan-fried and served on wild rice. Go by, try the steaks there as well. Steamboat Warehouse, Washington. One more?
Yep, one more.
Oh, yeah. Well, why don't I say, how about Slimco? Let's talk about the Slimco scholarships. 20 scholarships, each at $2,000 apiece. They'll be giving out this summer, the annual meeting at the Cajun Dome.
76th.
That's right. June 1st, 2013. The party starts at about, what, 6 or 6:30 in the morning. You can go have your coffee, listen to Cajun music all day, have a good time, dance with your honey, eat some good food, get to meet all your friends. You got to have your application in for the scholarship by May the 2nd. You can send an email to scholarship@slimco.com, or you can give them a call to get information at 896-2520, or go to slimco.com and download your application and get in. You have to be either a member of Slimco, or you have to be the child of a member.
That's correct.
Got it.
Okay, let's...
you want some more photos?
Yeah, let's show a few more photos here.
There's something hidden underneath a blue tarp.
Yeah, I kind of covered up my... there was so much pollen in the air when I was there the week before, this past weekend, that I had bought a little tarp to put on it and keep all that pollen off of my new Polaris.
And there it is.
Well, no, that's not mine. That's
what happened?
That's Jimmy Prados.
Oh, he's got the old one.
He's got the, well, it's a kind of a new one. He had used it, and it was kind of dusty.
I understand.
Kind of dusty. And this is one of the little items that is created and made by my daughter Kelly, and I hung that on the front of our camp there in Winfield. And there's a good picture of it right there. Thanks. And a little bit better picture of it, a little view of it. And you can put feed in there. And Charles Cummins was also on this weekend. And it looks like he was working his GPS there. He's learning how to use it and testing it to see that it works in the woods, you know.
Right.
With the tall trees and all, pine trees. And you
got your camouflage Imperial cap and sunglasses.
That's correct. Imperial's a good corporate neighbor of ours here in Opelousas, and of course Joe Fred and Tatsi and J.E. and I founded that little company, and we've sold it to investors, and they have continued to grow. And this is in, that's Mr. John and Nichols department store. They have just about anything you want. It's a big, they've added guns and all in theirs and sporting equipment, but very similar to J.B. Sandals. And that's Daniel. He's one of the, I guess, younger employees in the place. They were founded in the early 1900s. It's a huge store with a lot of decorative items for your home. If you want a shotgun, they have that, but they don't have any 22 rifle ammunition.
Hard to come by.
Hard to come by. A young man from Shreveport walked in and asked for it. I overheard it. And they said, nope. Well, he said they didn't have any in Shreveport either.
Hard to come by nowadays.
And Mr. John is fun. We visit with Mr. John over there.
And there's a trail?
And that's a trail right there, and way at the top of that, way up a little bit more in the open up there, right? A little bit higher up, a little bit higher. There's a deer stand right there, and that belongs to Jerry Chamberlain, a beautiful area he's got there. And that's going down the hill, then you have to come up the hill, and that's where and then you take a right there and go down, and that's where he has he has a feeder there also. So I mean, he's got a beautiful location. And Sunday before I left to go to church in Winfield, I kind of flagged this man down, the gentleman on the right, and that's Mr. Leroy James, and his son is Stacy. They were working. They all feel Mr. Leroy owns 3 of those little pumper type wells right in the back of them, kind of, and a little bit to the left. That right, my left, as I'm looking at the picture here. But Mr. Leroy is really a nice, down to earth, and he knows Michael Franks and other people that we know together. And I had taken some pictures and realized what I had taken them with was the audio video, and I didn't bring that to take the picture off, but they just did some logging on the property, and 2 of those little wells, you couldn't even see them, but he knew they were there. And I asked him about fracking, and he says, well, at some point, possibly some fracking will be able to take place, but these little wells are still producing well, and very shallow wells.
Right.
And he has his own drilling. In fact, the name of the company is James Drilling Company, and right there from Winfield, and just super nice guy. Thanks, Mr. Leroy and Stacy, for visiting. And they keep an eye on our place because they have somebody in and out of there all day long, 24 hours a day. You never know when they're coming. And this is the road that our camp is located on. Henry Sanders is where we turn off. We don't actually stay on that road, but we turn off right there. And Charles and I had to put that sign up. Some little lady had knocked it down, knocked the post down and all.
Yeah, you are.
And we took some plastic ties and set it up there, and at least, for emergency calls, where they can, they're driving pretty fast. And this is Sunday. I said I was going to church, and I did go to church, and Father was glad to see me, called me Bobby.
Back from Africa.
Nigeria.
That's in Africa.
That's African country. And then, of course, on the left is David. And David runs the little sandwich shop where we stop, and we never go to the camp if one time or more we don't stop and eat a breakfast or a hamburger, or I found out he makes a good vanilla milkshake.
There you go.
Thank y'all for being so kind to me when I go to Mass.
That's where you went to the hog dog deal there?
Yeah, and the church is just past that. I didn't realize. I was going way around to get to church and got lost one time, but this is right off
Our Lady of Lourdes.
Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Church. And I made the 10 a.m. Mass. Country Club Road is where, and then they meaning several of our golfing friends that are members of this hunting club.
They go golf too?
They have a big tournament, and they go to it and said it's really, really nice. And I plan on going this coming year. I won't be playing.
Solid waste.
Solid waste. Yes, we're going to do some cleaning up around the camp, and I located the solid waste.
And all the nice area there.
Yeah,
and
I'm driving.
There's that big home that
There's
they're
that
still
big
building.
home.
Cool.
It's kind of small.
It's going to take a while.
But they're really progressing, and that's a paved road all the way to the house.
Wow.
I mean, this guy's doing it
First
right.
class.
First class.
And there's Lee's Paws in LeCombe. What day of the week you went to
wasn't in a
close?
hurry.
How
It
did
was
that work?
Sunday, Easter Sunday.
Oh, that's right,
And
Easter.
and they weren't open.
Studebaker's there, so they hadn't left.
The Studebaker's still there. Old Mr. Johnson put that there many years ago. That was probably anywhere from a 48 to about a 52 Studebaker.
Mr. Lee was a character to visit with.
What?
Let me tell you.
And then I was passing and people were blowing at me. I stopped in the middle of the road and take a picture of this because I was with Barry. Well, we were partners back in those days when we bought this building.
Right.
And the business from Mr. Well, it was not,
Garland? It was Garland?
No, it was Wright.
Wright.
It was Thomas Wright.
Right.
The son of Mr.
Bob Wright?
Bob Wright.
Bob Wright, yeah.
And
exactly.
with the insurance, not the Bob Wright.
My memory's pretty good.
Lawyer, that's correct. Then you should have
And
another.
then his main office was
that was the
building
home
there.
office of Wright General Agency, and they had their own insurance company, and I can't think
Years ago in that
years
building.
ago in that building right there. And the building is in still pretty good shape. That would look like there might have been some activity in the building. Maybe someone's using it. I hope they are. And then I'm back at Washington, and that's when we had that storm. I had to pull over under the overpass between LA 10 and I-49.
Hail was coming and everything for a while.
Yeah,
depending on where you were.
and it was just a sheet of rain. You just couldn't see, and I was lucky that I had a place to pull over in a safe way.
That's what they're decorating around the tree there.
Yep,
That's,
they've planted the trees. Nicky Dejean et al.
Stan Muller.
Stan Muller and probably the Washington Garden Club and all. They fixed it up just like they said they would. We did the parking lot, but they did the flowers.
And some horses.
And a little pony that I bought. I think the name of that horse is Unhitched or Unhooked.
He rides well?
Unhooked, I think it is.
He rides well when you ride him?
Well,
Or you don't ride him?
he kind of bronc, so I didn't want to try myself on him yet.
All right.
But Jason on the right had just worked him out, and he looks like they say he's working real well. And that's June holding him, and Mr. Lloyd all the way on the left. But June's been with Don Stemmons. This is at Don Stemmons Training Center, Stemmons
in Carencro?
Rest Farm, and in Carencro, correct. And June's been with Don for over 50 years.
Wow.
Every morning he brings him his newspaper, and they chat and decide what they're going to do for the day. How about that? Isn't that wonderful? And must have been Monday night. Went over to Baton Rouge. We had a little dinner for the chairman of the House Insurance Committee, and also for the chairman of the Senate Insurance Committee. And I'll have pictures, but this picture here, a lot of people in the Opelousas, well, Acadiana area are going to recognize the gentleman on the left.
Mr. Jimmy Levier.
Jimmy Levier, and Jimmy Levier does catering, by the way, and that's what he was doing. He was catering this meal for us,
And
that's his brother on the right. And so if y'all need him, just call me and we'll put you in touch with him.
If you need somebody to knock the squirrels out your tree, Jimmy can handle that too.
And he likes to hunt.
He is a squirrel hunter. We're going to have to take a 1-minute break before the last quarter. Folks, we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, I've got some more pictures too about that dinner.
Of 1 minute.